Raise your eyes to the sky when you hardly feel alive, would you please? Cause see, if your daddy had a love you could, it saved you so much trouble when you're mean. Yeah, and get the punching at the sky. No example how to thrive, then they call you black niggas. No one fucking witches. I started from some youngest with some daddy issues.
What up, folks? It's your friend King David, and you're watching the Red Pill Podcast, where if you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I'll show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What up, guys, and welcome back to the Red Pill Podcast. So I have an amazing crew of people here today. We worked hard to make this happen, and I'm very happy to have you all. So I'm going to start by having you introduce yourselves. I'll start with you, Brandon.
All right. What's going on, y'all? My name is Brandon Smith. I'm an actor and performer.
Carl.
It's impressive. So my name is Carly. I am Cocktails with Carly, and I'm happy to be here. I am a podcaster and a candle maker and a lady in fintech, so I'm really happy to be here.
Yes.
And I am Larry Ricardo II. I am an actor, singer-songwriter, and activist.
And last but not least, I'm your host, King David, actor, musician, personality, and last but not least, LGBT activist. All right, y'all, let's dive in. So you know we are on the Red Pill Podcast, so it's only right that we started off in this way. Now, I got y'all's attention.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed, and you believe whatever you want to believe. But if you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I'll show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Take it.
Taking the red.
Take that red.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Why are we this way? Oh my God.
Wonderland, baby.
I'm not even a red pillar. But I'm going to try it out, y'all. Oh, wait. I'm going to go up.
Down to the home.
I'm going to go up because we don't go down no more.
Oh,
Amen.
all right.
Amen.
All right.
Now, are we taking this whole thing? God damn.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
I'm on lightweight. Hold
Let
on.
the truth begin. Okay, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
Let the truth
Here we go.
begin. All right. So, you guys know, we'll introduce the audience to our topic of the day. We are talking about self-image in the age of perfectionism. Okay? So, everybody has these cards here.
Yes.
One is your true card, one is your false card. All right? For the Spitfire round, true or false. There is nothing I would change about my physical appearance. Okay. All right.
All right, Mr.
All right.
Perfect.
It's not.
Okay. I am at ease with physically aging.
Yet again. Wow.
Okay. All right.
I think so.
You're at ease with it.
Yeah.
Well, you look
Wait,
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, like,
It hasn't been challenged.
right?
Right. All right.
Both
Let's
of you,
see.
actually.
I'm not attached to my physical appearance.
Ooh, can I do both?
Yeah.
What you got left?
Did you see mine?
That's a great question.
I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
I have attempted fad diets or other extreme measures to change my body.
Maybe. I eat every day.
Somebody is really beating you out for Mr. Perfect.
You're doing great. I have struggled with comparing myself to others. Go ahead, girl.
Black girl magic.
Yeah.
I have historically engaged in negative self-talk involving my appearance. Just me. My ideas about my appearance were taught to me and molded by others.
Yeah.
Others' opinions of me have historically guided how worthy I've seen myself. Actually, I think I have to.
Yeah, I'm a little
Yeah, I guess I can do
conflicted.
both.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Let's talk about that.
I think we all struggle with acceptance, right? And so I think that it can be very conflicting as you grow up, whether you're working jobs or whether you're with friends or peer pressure. Should I wear a wig or should I wear a weave? Or should I get a butt or should I get my boobs or whatever? So I feel like we are constantly fighting the peer pressure. So that's why I feel conflicted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got something on that?
Yeah, I think for me, you're always getting messages about looks and what is acceptable and what's not acceptable from people from the outside. Even when you are secure inside, those messages come, whether it's from a partner or friends or whoever, just off of their experiences. So I think it's kind of both.
Yeah.
Worthy is why I instantly put up this one, because worthy is such a powerful word.
It is.
And I've always kind of looked at myself in a high regard, but when you said both, I'm like, yeah, because I have had second thoughts about my appearance and like my worthiness, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then being an entertainer, that is
All of
a
us.
layer.
Yeah.
Because people are always criticizing.
Depicting
You
it,
could have the perfect outfit and they'll find something wrong.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
like,
And that's where I would have gone in the conversation, is more of being in front of people when you are up for judgment from others as part of normal practice. It's not even an offensive thing to do. In that sense, sometimes the things that you hear seep in instead of just skating across on the surface.
Yeah.
So that's where that would be my green, and then the red would be, I see myself as attractive. I felt like I was worthy, but there are other ways. Maybe I'm too slim, and I might question my worthiness by volume of human being that I represent.
Wow.
So
That was very deep. I felt that.
yeah.
That was awesome.
The images I see in TV and social media have negatively influenced my relationship with my self-image.
Because I'm not getting a 50-inch ass regardless. I'm just not going to do it.
All right, so before we begin, I want to give you the first question, but I want to explain the background to it. So there are 3 body types. Carly, I trained you, so you should be a little bit more familiar with this topic.
And a little more fit.
Right. All right. So you have an ectomorph, okay? That is a long and lean individual with little body fat. They have a hard time gaining weight, and they tend to have a very fast metabolism. Okay? You have a mesomorph. That's the middle body type. It's marked by greater than average muscular development, and this is a person who can gain or lose weight fairly easily. Okay, so this is the one from high school that was the always athletic jock. His quads grew, his back grew. Y'all were in 9th grade. He was built like this. That's a mesomorph.
Got it.
Then you have an endomorph. So that is a softer body with curves. It tends to have larger trunks and thighs, so legs and thighs, and naturally high degree of fat. They have a hard time losing weight and have a slower metabolism.
And what was this one again?
This is a endomorph. So the skinny is ecto, and the heavier is endo, all right? And the middle is meso. So you can be a combination of 2 of the body types. Of course, you couldn't be an ectomorph, endomorph, because they're opposites. But you could be an ectomorph, mesomorph. So actually, technically, to a degree, I'm correct myself. You could be ectomorph, endomorph. You could be a slim person with a naturally fleshy body. You could attract fat, but have a very slender and long frame. So
I've never heard
they
this
can be
term.
combined.
That's,
all right.
That's dope.
So the first question in itself, with that background information, is where do you each feel you fit naturally, historically?
Definitely ecto.
Ectomorph. How about you, Clark?
What was the meso?
Meso is marked by greater than average muscular development, can gain or lose weight fairly easily.
And what was the latter?
Endomorph, softer body with curves, tend to have larger trunks and thighs, and naturally high degree of
First off, we're not doing this today, okay? Y'all not going to get me on this show. Y'all not getting ready to get me on this show.
Love it. All right. I would say ectomorph. Okay.
Actually, when you say historically, what do you mean? Because probably up into like probably most of my life I was ectomorph, but once I hit a certain age, like my metabolism slowed and like my build changed. Like literally 7 years ago, like people don't even see me the same way because they were just like, "You're so skinny with a big head." and now I kind of feel that
Triggered, y'all.
But that was my reality, like through high school, through college, up until like literally my 30s.
Okay, so a historic ectomorph.
Yeah.
And
I would say I'm an endomorph now. Like my legs have gotten bigger. I just am bigger.
Okay. So you'll be able to speak to a few things in the conversation. That's awesome. Okay. We got that out of the way. So now the first real question. Have you always felt your body type was enough?
At what stage in life? As an
Have you
adult? Always? When I was young, so I was very slender. And then as I got older, I started filling out in other areas. And now I have an Atlanta body. And I really don't know where it started, but it's here.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I don't really understand how like that actually works. But yeah, so that's what I got going on.
Okay.
I have always felt like I was enough, like, you know, growing up, but then, you know, other people started to say, "Oh, damn, you're skinny, da 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 da." And it's like, oh, maybe how I feel isn't how I should feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very confusing because I never had those feelings of being less than or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then, you know, other people's
Projected onto you.
it's like weird, very weird.
I have had a similar experience. I would have a very similar answer. I don't remember being young and not liking my body. In fact, I always had I guess I would actually be more of a ectomorph, mesomorph combination because I have high musculature by nature, but I've always been very slender, very slender. Excuse me. But in my experience growing up, I was just like, well, I got abs. You know what I mean? That was I thought I was enough. You know, I was a kid. People were like, how you got abs when you were a kid? And then as I got into middle school and everyone's hitting puberty, now we're not all sticks. Now, some of y'all have thighs now, and you got shoulders and some biceps happening, and my bicep is this thick. You know what I mean? So people would say to me, "Are you eating? Do you be eating? Boy, you need to eat. You're so small." You know?
I hate it.
So I didn't feel that for majority of my adulthood, I haven't felt that historically, that my body type was enough. I was like the small version of being a man.
That's deep.
That is deep.
Yeah.
You keep hitting us with these deep ones.
Yeah.
I get some tearjerkers out here.
I had a similar experience. Like when I hit puberty, I just shot up.
Yeah.
So like I was maybe like 5'4", and then I became 6'4"
Wow.
over a summer. So I was like extreme. I was like maybe 165 pounds, and I was 6'4".
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So like people were like, "Are you sick? Are you okay?" And it's just like those type of things.
Yeah.
It made me really aware of how I talk to people, the things I say to people, just because it resonates with people. It like lives in your head for free,
It does.
and you can't even evict it because it's just like those thoughts when you see yourself. And I mean, it caused me to work on myself in a way that I feel like might not have been as healthy because it was like my goal was set by someone else. It was an external force instead of internally.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's
And I
tough.
think it's so interesting. I'm glad this came up. But you have a sensitivity from people in general, an awareness, a knowledge about speaking on heavier people's weight, you know?
Right.
And how that's offensive. And you being an asshole to just be like, girl, you need to stop eating. Like, who asked you, you know? But people don't have the inherent awareness to say it's the same thing, because the true language of it, take the words that are being said out of it. It is someone saying you're not enough.
Right.
You know, you are not small enough, or you're not big enough. Either way, you are not measuring up to being enough, and you need to change something, in my opinion, to be enough. You can tell me how handsome I am, but then be like, but you're so skinny. And it says you're handsome, but you need to gain weight to be enough.
Right.
Okay. All right, next question. Would you date, and are you drawn to people with your body type?
I'll answer it first. I am not. I am not, and I wonder, is that a part of what we just talked about because of like the subconscious thing? But I love big and tall. Big and tall is my go.
That's your thing.
Trees. Give me a tree. Give me a sequoia tree.
Yes. Yes, we love a good tree climb.
Yes.
You know? Yes. How about you, Carl?
You know what I like? I like an A-line suit type body.
Okay.
Okay, everybody can't fit in an A-line suit.
Okay.
You know, a nice, tailored suit, you know, and it fits right. You can see your belt buckle. That's what I like.
Okay, got it.
Not the thighs too big, like, don't need all that.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, friend.
I have no complaints, so I'm not even worried about it.
Baby, don't you fucking worry.
No influence over here.
Okay.
David's like, order in the court here.
All right. I'll go next.
Okay, yeah.
Please go immediately.
So, I'll say that my historic type is thicker thighs, big old ass, tight waist.
Ooh.
Those are the key components. Is that like myself? No, not naturally.
You got some of those. Let me see.
But I'm thicker, taller people, dudes. But yeah, yeah. So we're going. I had to seal my lips and stop there for a second and let you finish before we come back.
I don't really have a type. I think I'm attracted to the person. So it's less of a body type and more of like the connection.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's very interesting.
That's
when
called
I hear people say
is that a sapiosexual?
Yes.
That is correct.
I'm a sapiosexual too,
I'm a
believe it or not.
Yeah. Are you serious or facetious right
No,
now?
I'm being so serious, I swear.
All right, yeah,
like,
okay.
you have to at least hit a requirement, right?
That's fair.
Because there has to be a level of attraction,
Yeah. Beyond
and
the physical.
so, right, beyond the physical.
Yeah, the physical is like, okay, now
That's
approach.
the seal, yes.
That's the approach.
Yes.
But now it's like, all right, now we're here. What happens from here?
Right.
And then if you make love to my mind and not that game, don't finesse me. Don't finesse a finesser.
I dress
Like, if that person is able to really cultivate my mind, it makes them all even more attractive. So I would be able to overlook certain things.
I agree. I'm in the same boat. Like I am an intellectual. Though I do a lot of entertainment stuff, I'm into politics. I'm into the world.
Yes.
So if you can meet me there, that is.
Yeah, I can meet you there, friend.
All right, so have your previous partners / dating experiences affirm your ideas about your body, or have they challenged them?
Well, I'll start with that one.
Okay.
So I was in a relationship with someone whose body type was definitely different from mine. So they would always be like, well, why don't you just do this in your workout? Because this works for me. And it's just like, because we're different.
Yeah.
Like you have a swimmer's build.
Yeah.
So you naturally build muscle easy, like your shoulders and everything else. The same thing that works for you doesn't work for me. And I think that one size fits all type of thinking can be hurtful when it comes to like relationships and people.
I have had people I've dealt with truly affirm that my body was great, slim and all. It's like, you have a beautiful body, And this is at like 18 at 130 pounds at 6'1", you know what I mean? Small, yes, very slim. But with that,
Thank you for the slim.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Yes. But I've also had people, as I've gotten in situations with them, be like, "Your body is great, but it wouldn't hurt to gain a couple more pounds, or even kind of being accountable to how we may move in the world and what we might bring to ourselves. I might have been fishing for compliments or fishing to be enough, and said, "What do you think about me gaining some weight?" And instead of them saying what I want to hear, no, you don't need to gain any weight. They're like, "Well, your body's fine how it is, but I mean, you want to, it would look good on you." You know what I mean? So that would be the way where they challenge that. And depending on how you look at it, maybe they were affirming what I thought in that regard too. Maybe that I was not big enough. Cool. Do you think one can be operating in self-love if their body goals are based in another body type?
Yes.
Okay.
Because as long as it's not like, oh, I want to be them, and it comes from a place of, you know what, I feel like it's time for my journey to either do this with my body or say, I feel like that we're gonna get there later on in the questions, but yeah, as long as it's not coming from a place of greed or like wanting something else other than what they innately are gonna do regardless, if that makes sense.
Gonna be or do?
Gonna be.
Okay. I would say that I'll challenge your answer. This is even in my own personal process and journey with myself now. I've asked myself, I always wanted to be more of a mesomorph. But I asked myself, am I operating in self-love if that's not naturally who I am? If other people can see a specific beauty in me being an ectomorph, a slimmer guy, if there are people who specifically look at that and say, that's beautiful, you know? But I am fighting my damnness every day, chugging protein shakes, working out, I didn't take steroids, but I'm just giving an example. People may take steroids, to go from being an ectomorph to a mesomorph. Is that truly operating in self-love? It's nothing wrong with saying, I want my arms bigger. I want my legs bigger. I want my chest bigger. But when you start saying, I want to be something that looks nothing like me. It's like if you are a naturally thick girl and you like, I want to be size 2 skinny. It's like, whoa. I can see you wanted to slim down and smooth out some areas but when did it get to a point where you want to be something so outside of yourself and then call that done in love? It's literally like, once I escape who I am, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Once I'm no longer associated with anything I naturally am in my body type, I'll feel enough.
I hear you. But like, what if your core values and the things that you believe in are still the same, even after you go through those things? I feel like that's loving yourself.
But the question is, why did you feel the need to make such an extreme change from the beginning if you were already enough? Yeah.
Well, are you really enough if you have to do all those extreme changes?
Can't be.
You can't be.
I mean, and it's nothing wrong. Improvement is part of the human process. Wanting more is part of the healthy human process.
Right.
But wanting more and wanting opposite
is
are
two
different things.
that's two different. Yeah.
And this is speaking at least from my personal experience. But in my experience, if I could escape being slim altogether, then every insecurity about being slim that I had built from things I heard and experienced growing up would cease. I didn't have to do the inner work to accept and find beauty in and love what was me. I could just leave it, and there was a season that I left it. I got to 190, and people were like, you ain't even slim no more, you got thick, and I loved it. And guess what happened? COVID. And when gyms closed based off my body type, I went from 185 down to 165 in 2 months. That fast. A year and some change of killing myself on protein shakes, my diet, eating oatmeal for breakfast when I'm on my way out to train, and having a protein shake while we in the middle of our session. It's like there's so much effort that was so uncomfortable that I never enjoyed.
Right.
I love fitness, but I never enjoyed this stuff.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, it
does.
was.
It's like torture.
But how many people become miserable to go from an endomorph to an ectomorph. And then the maintenance, you are still your body type at the end of the day. Unless you got a gastric sleeve or bypass and you got a different stomach now, you still are going to have the nature and the tendencies that I described for an endomorph.
And I think that's what I was hitting on, was like the surgery part of things. Like, if they go that far, is it still loving yourself? And I think it can be that way, but the way you just described, I'm like, that does sound like hell.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who, you know, may sit so far at an extreme of an endomorph that they are a separate part of this conversation.
Right.
You know, I'm not asking you to be in love with 600 pounds if that's unhealthy for you and compromises your health and your ability to live freely. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you are 600 pounds, let's get down to being a healthy, curvy girl. Like, set your body goal for like 186. Let me just hear that out loud. Maybe you get there and you realize you want to be 175, you know, but like, if I hear you say, I want to go from 300 pounds to 120, then it's like, maybe we should start here first before we start changing this.
We're getting to an arena where everybody's looking perfect nowadays.
Right.
I mean, but you know, we'll talk about that later.
Actually. Do you feel that living in the age of social media has put new/extra pressure on you to appear perfect?
100%.
Or close to as perfect as possible?
Where's the thing? Can I use yours?
You want to use your
100%. Absolutely.
Yes.
You guys see it, the filters. I mean, and they've gotten so much more sophisticated now. My friends show me new filters, and I'm just like, oh my God, that doesn't even look like you. It looks like the best version of you that I don't see.
Yeah.
No shade.
I think in a very, like, in a no shade kind of way, you know, we all have that awareness for people that we might know, because like, you can go on social media and see one of your friends and you're like, bitch, you look good in this picture. Then you squint and you're like, something's different.
Something's different.
They have face tuned that
Pinch the
picture.
nose.
Yes. And it's like they are literally a doll right now.
Yes.
It's like, it's your face, but baby, it is glowing, you know?
Crazy.
Yeah, so it literally, if you don't know that person though, you thought and you still think that's what they look like.
Right.
You know, and it's not about in the individual person. It's like, you don't think he that cute. It's not about him. What it's about is the message that sends to you about what is around and what's normal. It's like, before social media, you determine even your level of attractiveness in a comparative way by walking outside and seeing what people look like. How many people could compete with your level of attractiveness? When you were in a room, how numbered did you feel in a section of the looks in the room? You know, when you go into the social media place,
you better fucking
you know,
forget about
the
it,
seas of social media, it's now millions of people that you're quantifying enough by or finer than, and then you're seeing, you know, glass skin. You know, on people. Like, you know, you're just like, oh my God.
And then not to mention the filter, the fillers.
Yeah. Fillers,
so now when you see these women out from a woman's perspective, you see them and they have like high definition makeup on, the contouring is, and you're just like, the hair and everything is so embellished, the bodies are just cartoonish. And you're just like, is that even comfortable?
Yeah. I think as you push aesthetics, right, and you push what is when you create a narrow idea of what is attractive, and now to be better than what everyone has become, you have to push the envelope further. Although the curves are curving, the bodies are just like, your brain can't process the possibility of this waist to this hip.
Yes.
You know, like some of your favorite rap chicks, you see like their new bodies, they update, and you're like, is happening. You know what I mean?
It's overly dramatic.
It's weird.
And it's on
your
a
eye,
picture.
It's literally your eye, because you've seen all kind of bodies. You've seen a girl in the hood that was so goddamn thick. She was like, oh my God, that's a
Trina
real body.
back in the day.
Right, but it's like the way that the bodies look, to your brain, it's like, you know, your eye can spot things that without understanding why, it's just like it doesn't register right. Yeah. But to your naked eye, your trained eye of done bodies are okay. You look at it and you're like, her body's sitting. You're like, the waist is tiny, the hips is, the ass is assing. But then you're like, but your subconscious brain is like, look again, something wrong, something's wrong. Like the body angles, you know. So it's just like we're living in a culture where we're losing sight of
reality. Yeah.
Like literally, what does real even look like? Because now a fat ass, but a real fat ass isn't even that fat anymore.
Right.
And it's literally like, this was the apex of where asses got outside of that little, you know, the groups in Africa, they got the special ones, you know, we haven't seen them. But you like, this is where it typically got to, where you're like, yo, her ass was fat as shit. But now it's just like a norm, because there's like 15 girls just from your hood that actually went and got a BBL that now has that same ass. You know, so it's so hard to even be an individual in the world from both spectrums. There's not a lot of space.
Well, not even without the surgery, like the Facetune and I mean, I was very green to all of it. So I was thinking that this is like what people look like. And so when I don't recognize people, like they'll be like, oh, you acting funny. You like, no, nigga, I look like I look in my pictures. I don't know who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not even trying to be funny, but like,
it's so bad. Like you said, it is so bad. I mean, it's interesting, but yeah.
So, next question. Do you feel pressure to Photoshop your pictures?
No. I don't.
Sometimes I'll give it a little, I mean, not pressure. So no, do what I want to do. But I do feel a little like, maybe I look a little rough on this. Let me just soften the picture up a little bit. And I'll soften the picture up a little bit, but like I have raw, like professional photos that are going to come out. And I'm just like, this looks fabulous.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it.
Okay.
You know?
I'll darken my skin tone during the winter.
Really?
Yes, because people make so like, oh, you transparent, or you like that. Like I get really light during the winter, and so you
Y'all
understand.
gotta get some of that vitamin D.
So yeah, so like I will not doctor it, but I might like take highlights out, or like take the lighting out or the brightness out.
I actually didn't realize people were photoshopping their pictures. I'm slow. Okay, because and my friends were looking at me like, David, are you dumb? You know,
right?
But yeah, I didn't. Especially like I know about, and I have gone like done a photo shoot, gotten the pictures back, and I'm like, that little line right there, let me just tap that real quick. Like that.
That's different.
I've cleaned up my pictures. I didn't know that people were making their waist smaller and their quads like significantly bigger, or their butt poke out, or they're like creating a whole exotic body with Photoshop. But I didn't think about it because I always thought to myself, bitch, I better not make these stars look too thick in this photo, and then I go out in public and I got these regular legs.
Right.
Like, bitch, what the fuck?
Your math ain't
You know,
The math ain't math.
you know,
2 plus 2.
how 2 plus 2 equal 127?
Right.
Huh?
It don't make sense.
But yeah, so I didn't think of it as an option, and I didn't. That's why I also didn't think that other people were really editing their pictures to that degree, because I didn't think anybody was that crazy to.
Right.
But it's such a. It's almost like you do it, so it don't matter no more. It's like, you know, I do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But I don't. It's just hard to understand.
And you're gonna love this picture too.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard to understand when you like if you create a whole, you know, timeline, your own page full of misrepresentations of yourself, then no one can be like excited by what they see in person. I never want someone to be let down when they see me. In fact, I'd rather be cute on Instagram, but just like a little less cute than I actually am in real life. You know, so when you meet me, you be like, I thought you was fine, but you look bad in person.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be like, oh, okay.
Oh wow.
You know, like,
yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah. That's an experience, because I just think about the mental behind that. Like, like I don't feel like I look good enough to present myself to the world, so I have to change it.
Yeah. Correct.
I think it's the peer pressure from social media.
It's literally, this is the thing, and this is how you know it's literally just social media just eating away at our brains and our souls, right? Because 6 years ago, let's go back. No, let's go 10. Okay? We're now in 2013. Instagram has been around for 2 years now. You finally got about 307 followers now, and you feeling like you're gonna keep follow back until you get to your 1K. Right?
I'm here for it.
When you was posting a picture, it was you.
Yeah.
It was just you. Good, bad, on your good. there was no space in your brain to find something to now make this better than the picture you got when you took it.
They did have filters back then.
But it was just little color
basic
applications,
right.
you know.
It was color.
It's
It wasn't
just-
cinch.
Right.
It's gonna change the mood of your photo.
Right.
It's not gonna change you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So over that time period, think about how consistent and has become and normalized and just consistent across everyone's experience that we're all doing something, even if we all have Facetune and just do blemish correct on ours and put a little smoothing on it, you know what I mean? But there's some effort that says whatever I look like in real life, I need to make it look a little more cleaned up for social media. And I don't even think that's some personal, I don't feel good about myself, because I can look in the mirror and say, looks good to me, but then you see the picture and you realize the other people's skin is glowing in their pictures when they put their pictures up. So why wouldn't you make sure your skin is hitting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of pressure. Okay. So now let me ask you this. Similarly, do you feel a pressure to stay young?
Oh, wow. So for me, I've spoke with some of my guy friends and they're like, I won't even put like 40. I'll put like between 30 and 35 because they don't expect someone that's 40 or I'm going to be 42. They don't expect me to look, come through. They don't expect us to look a certain way at 40.
Yeah.
They expect us to look a mess. And I will say some of the people I went to like elementary school with, and I'll see them, I'll be like, bro.
The same people that are making fun of you.
Yeah, like I'm like,
look how that turned out.
Yeah, right? How's life? How's that waste? So I just feel like do whatever you got to do to make yourself, kind of goes back to this, but it makes you do whatever that makes you feel good about yourself. Whether you got to get it, like I've had surgery, I had a tummy tuck. Okay. I wanted my
save that.
Okay.
Save that.
All right, I ain't gonna say it no more now. No. Okay, good.
Okay. I will say yes. I feel a pressure to stay youthfully attractive. I'm okay with getting older. Like, I'm not a person who's ever lied about my age or wanted to like, oh, you about to be 33, so now start taking it down to 29, 30, so I can be answered. Like after years.
Right.
But I've always been comfortable with getting older. I just always want to be fine.
That part.
And maybe it is vain, but not so much from a vain place as much as I think a lot and I have an awareness of things place. If you were to lose, in my brain, my self-rhetoric is that if you lose your attractiveness, then your experience changes. Your human experience changes. That's and true. You have to get your ego chopped up a little bit in this new world, So
there's nothing wrong with that, though.
I mean, it's not, but it's literally my struggle. It's something that I never, like you, I didn't think about it. And I just I looked at the more like, oh, well, how about mom aging? My mom aging good, so that means it's just easy. You know what I mean? And then a line shows up here, and the dark spots show up here, and a bag show up here, and your face casting new shadows that have been cast, and you're like, well, what's happening? When I started to become met with that reality, then I became aware that this thing is actually real. Yeah. And it did make that very relevant to me. How about you?
I hate to sound cliche, but no, I'm in the same vein as you. Like, I'm 42.
But both of you guys are aging.
Yeah, I'm 42.
I'm like, what? He's what now?
So I feel like most people don't think that I am. I mean, and I think age, it sounds cliche, but age is nothing but a number. I think it's like how you show up. How you are you youthful? Are you happy? Are you jovial? Like, those things make you appear young when you're so serious and so worried about things. I feel like it shows. Yeah. So I don't.
Okay.
And do what you got to do to keep yourself up. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with extras. I'll keep it there for now.
So the next question: are you willing to go under the knife?
No.
Sorry.
No. I'm gonna say no.
So I don't think anything's wrong with it. I think when you start completely changing the whole incredible dynamic of who you are is ridiculous. if you want to get a tummy tuck, you want to lift them boobs up, you want to like get a little fat transfer, you want to keep it cute and keep it very natural. I don't think anything is wrong with that. Because guess what? We are getting older.
Yeah.
Like, you got to look at, like, this body is 30 years old. Like, this thing, a 30-year-old, car, you got to keep maintaining it.
Yeah.
We are like cars. We have to keep maintaining. Keep them lips moisturized. Keep them eyes checked. Go to the doctor. Make sure you good. I'll pop a pill to feel better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the one that's getting ready to just deal with the pain and doctor, I found a bump. I needed something.
Right.
Give me some ointment. Give me the, whatever. So it's just, like you said, it's all in the way that you take care of yourself. But don't be afraid about, getting older.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you're not willing to go under the
No,
knife?
only because I believe in like being a blank canvas. Like I don't have any tattoos, any piercings or anything like that. I like the idea of being, because now every day, I mean, a lot of people that I know have tattoos and piercings, and when I tell them, oh yeah, I don't have anything, they're like, what? That's so like unheard of, and I'm like, oh wow, so now I am the rare one.
You're the anomaly.
I am the anomaly. So I think that's pretty cool. So I'm not gonna change that.
Okay. I would. Yeah. I don't have anything against maintenance. I am not for changing anything away from myself. But as I already stated, for my own reasons, I want to maintain my appearance as long as I can. So if I can get a little Botox and a little thread here, then let's do it.
Snatch it back.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What has helped you improve your relationship with how you see yourself?
Self-love. That's like the best way I can say it.
Yeah.
I actually put self-love on my mirror in my room. And I was just like, self-love is the best love.
Yeah.
Music, just keeping good energy.
Okay, cool. Yes. So for me, similar.
Yeah.
I started with writing affirmations on my mirror so that every day when I looked in the mirror, I would just see them around me. They'd be in the background of my thoughts. Quick story myself, in December of 2021, I went to Brazil for the New Year's festivities, and while I was there, I had gotten sick. Before coming there, I had gotten up to 188. I was taking a pediment and trying to like gain weight, right?
Yeah.
I get there 188 in my I'm enough stage, and I got sick while I was there, really sick, and didn't eat much for 3 days. We spoke off camera about how fast I can lose weight. I can drop 5 pounds in 3 days if I don't eat. Easy. And I remember that after I felt better, I was much smaller visibly to how I would have looked when I first got down there. And I went out, and I was so in my head about how I looked that I almost didn't want to wear a bathing suit. And I got to the parties, and other people were saying, "You're so beautiful, your body, not your little waist." Just giving me these affirmations that there was no lack of being enough. It wasn't, David, you are cute, but you need to gain some weight. It was, you are enough. And from that moment when I got back from the trip, I had committed myself to making a change. I committed myself to seeing myself differently and starting to see what other people saw in me that was beautiful, instead of being in this fight to be this version of me that other people would also agree with. And for me, in my own experience, that started with stopping checking my weight. I no longer checked my weight. I looked in the mirror after the gym, and I let that tell me how I was doing in the gym.
That's great.
Because that was just going to psych me out every time if it dropped 2 pounds. But I was looking in the mirror and was like, I look good today. Now I don't look good. I can't see myself anymore. So I really took some time and went inward. And what things am I working through? Anxieties, overthinking what other people think about me, because that's what that is for anyone who doesn't understand that. And really just saying, what do I think? What things do I want to place on the inside of me that I want to stay there, that I'm determining are my beliefs? So when someone says something else, I need to go back to my mirror and reiterate what my beliefs are. So,
yeah, that's good. I think spending time with myself, just listening to the same thing, listening to the voice within, really everything I need, I have within me, and realizing that, and that is what keeps me going forward, and believing in myself and being comfortable with the way I look. Like right now, I'm doing a show where before I wouldn't even do like nude stuff because of just body image and how it looks on camera. And it's like, nah, I don't care. Like, and
Yeah.
That's a
people are
beautiful
drawn
place.
to it though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just whatever.
That's
I
a
have.
beautiful place to be. Like, do you know that that's like,
It's
that's
freedom.
golden. It's
Yeah.
freedom.
Oh,
It's literal
that
freedom.
word.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
Freedom.
Yes.
That's
We
right.
spend so much time trapped in our own bodies,
Yeah.
our images, and we allow it to become prisons for us because we are trying to feel like we won't be free until we look like or meet some other standard versus
Right.
choosing freedom for
Right.
ourselves. Deep stuff, yo. Okay, next question. In regards to self-care, have you ever sought therapy to help improve your self-image? Why or why not? And has your choice been effective for you?
I have not sought out self-therapy, but I definitely need therapy. I'm not gonna knock therapy. I definitely need it. The family needs it.
Yeah.
But
I think we can all use some
we
therapy.
can all use some.
So I have a therapist, and I've been with my therapist for about 4.5 years. And so she's very instrumental in my life, and I think everybody should seek therapy. Therapy doesn't necessarily mean that there's an issue. It just means that you have somebody you can confide in, and they are trained to deal
Right.
with all of your issues.
Right.
So I definitely recommend that, and Black people need to go to therapy.
We need to
Like
go to therapy.
we need that in our community for past and present
Absolutely.
stuff that we
Yeah.
deal with. So
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
yeah.
How about you?
I not for body image stuff, but I have been in therapy. I believe in therapy as well,
Yeah.
not just therapy, but also meditating.
Yes.
Like centering yourself with self. I think that helps with image issues and anxiety. So I suffer from anxiety and ADHD as well. So like meditating and being still really helps.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Cool. So I am seeking currently therapy. And like you said, I wanted to piggyback off that for that reason. It's not because something's broken or something's wrong. It's the same way some people, and everyone should be, but some people are driven to want to improve themselves. And the same way you work your body to improve on it, the same way you work your intellect by studying, it's the same way that you work your heart, mind, and guts connection through therapy.
Yeah.
It helps just to keep everything aligned, and things are always going to be coming in that are going to be throwing things off of its equilibrium. So just to have an assistant, someone who is being paid to do nothing but listen and give the most sound advice they can, not a friend who has their own life and has other things to do, and it's just someone accountable to your own journey. So
It's also great because they ask questions that you wouldn't even think of.
they're thought-provoking.
This is therapeutic right here. It's
That's
made
what
me
this is
think
for.
about other things, and I think that's great that you
Yeah.
are hosting this. This is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a word. I felt that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. How has what you've learned changed your relationship with yourself and ultimately your lived experience?
So this is going to hit really close to home. So my therapist told me that I needed to make amends with my childhood self. And I need to wrap my hands around that young person and talk to her. And so I did it today when I was in the shower, because I'm like, okay, how do you do this? Like, what is this? And so I spoke to my inner young child, and I was just like, you are enough, right? So those affirmations, you are enough, you are amazing, like you're not insecure, you are not, you're not this person that people want to try to put you in a box to be.
Correct.
And so I just spoke a lot of life into myself. So that is my journey, and it's actually just catering to my young child inside of me. And so a very mature mind would have to be able to understand like what that means. It's not
your truest self.
yeah.
The one before everything got in.
Yeah.
And you started making new choices and new
Yeah.
decisions and your most original self.
Yeah, we have to tell our young selves that it's okay. I may have been socially awkward then, but look at me now. Okay, like I may have not known this, or maybe I wasn't the smartest. I wasn't the smartest child, but I was a very smart adult. Which I'm like, how the hell does that happen? Like I couldn't even do like 2 + 2. I'm like, but then now I'm like taking calculus in college and being this power person in a career, and I'm just like, where was the disconnect?
Yeah. Maybe you weren't seeing yourself as the smartest person. Maybe you were always smart, and maybe 2 + 2 wasn't where your intelligence was going to shine at that point. You know,
come on now.
So a lot of times we might even do that too.
Yes.
We might misjudge or misplace what is true about ourselves and make it a fact, even about our past.
And that is so true, because I feel like as a child I always overthought.
You were always
And
a
I was always very like striving to be perfect, because I was the first granddaughter, the first everything, and I was the oldest, and I had to. So yeah, just getting into my inner self, my inner child, and really wrapping my hands around her and talking to her.
That's beautiful.
So
I mean, now I know to be me. Like, I guess that sounds so like cliche, but it really means exactly what it is. Like, now I know, going forward, forget the rest, be you.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better. My same answer.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah.
Don't,
Be
not
you.
over processing, not overthinking, but just flowing as you.
I would say, for me, a combination of the two, like accepting my younger self so that I can love myself, so I can love and accept others as where they are and who they are. Because if I can't accept myself, I can't accept others. So that stops all the criticizing, all the seeing negatives in other people. I can see their light because I see my light, you know, and I believe in the law of attraction. So the more of the positivity I put out, I pull the positivity out of others, and that improves my experience. So, you know, and that's really where I stand, like, and my most authentic self. Like we talked about looking at the questions, and I was like, I didn't write anything because today I might be a different person than I was yesterday, and that's okay. You know?
That's deep.
Yes.
I heard a quote that connects to what you said recently. It challenged me, and I shared it with my partners. I was like, this is deep, but it's so simplistic. The quote says, the judgment you show to others is reflective of the judgment you show to yourself. So if you find that you are constantly judging other people, you probably have a very aggressive relationship with your inner self. And the more you change that, the better your relationship will be with yourself, even stemming from. So even if you can't start with working inward, if you start working outward and saying, I'm going to be less judgmental of others, you will find that you start to grant yourself more grace.
That's a word.
The world needs to hear that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
That was amazing.
Okay. Thank you.
Look at you.
It ain't
You
my
did that.
Oh my gosh. You did that.
All right.
I'm so here for it.
What is something that you can share with someone like you? So from your body type, whatever that is that we spoke of in the beginning, who is struggling with their body or self-image?
I would say embrace change. Change happens in your body. Embrace it because that's you. Like, this is a part of your journey. Like, don't fight the journey. Live it. Experience it. Love all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Don't fight the journey. I mean, I totally agree with that. I love that. Ride the journey. Like, ride it. Get on it and ride it. Do you guys, gosh, there was this movie and it was, I can't remember. I'm having that brain fart thing again. But there was a movie where it was this, The Never Ending Story. Do you guys remember once the little boy got on top of the big dog, he just rode it. Like, just ride it. Ride life. It's okay. Like, and don't be too pretentious and take things too seriously. Like, take the right things serious, but like other people's opinions about you, that's exactly what they are, just opinions. You know, and so I agree. Ride it. Enjoy it. Life is short. Love yourself.
I would tell them to take some time to get to know you. Spend time alone. I feel like a lot of people are afraid of their inner thoughts. But sometimes that's what we need. We need discomfort to grow. And don't run away from discomfort because that's where the beauty is. Yeah. That's what I would tell them.
I like that.
Something I would tell someone who looks like me and is struggling with their body or self-image is stop looking around. Start looking in the mirror and start looking in. Stop counting your worth by weight put it on other things. There's so many other factors that you can improve on in the meantime, because 18-year-old me or someone like me can't just look like me today at 18. I couldn't look like this till my late 20s, where my metabolism at least slowed enough to get here. So there has to be some peace during the process, instead of feeling like you're running from something until you get to something else. So see yourself, see the beauty in yourself, be looking for it at each step, and have patience and appreciate that ride. Yeah.
Don't run. You can't run.
Don't
You can't outrun yourself.
Yeah. Don't be your 18-year-old self trying to be your 28-year-old version of yourself, but looking at some 23-year-old who's able to be there. He's a mesomorph, right? Not a mesomorph. Be an ectomorph and just like ride your wave. Ride your wave. Be slim, sexy, baby.
That's it.
Anybody else want to say anything about that before I move to the last question? All right. Well, we're at the end, guys. So my last question is, what is something that you tell your younger self as it relates to body or self-image?
I would tell my younger self, forget what your parents are trying to tell you about sports. Stick with theater, because that's what makes you happy. Little Slim. That's what makes you happy, and these other kids are gonna be great in their lane. Be great in yours. Yeah. Because if I would have done like that, I would have gone to school for theater, like an actual school for theater, instead of going somewhere where it wasn't really like crafting that.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
I would tell my younger self to do what you enjoy. Like, just be as artsy as you want to be. Try a lot of fun stuff. Go travel. Just go. It's gonna be okay. And just have fun. I learned that I was artsy later on, like in the last couple years. Yeah. But if I would have known before, then I would have made other choices. Instead of going to school for mass communication, I probably would have went to art school to do something fun, so I could be colorful. But instead, my daughter goes to SCAD. So
and it's building. The wheel is still rolling.
Yes,
That's great that you just said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would tell my younger self, decide who you are quickly. Don't rush it, but quickly, and stand on that. Make the compliments you receive speak louder to you than the criticisms.
Yes.
And things will be okay.
I like that.
I actually tell my younger self, thank you, and I love you, because you've manifested everything that I am today. The thoughts, the work, the ideas that you put forth are why I am who I am today. And without you, I couldn't be here, because I think in that younger self, it just felt like doggy paddling in the ocean, not realizing that you're surviving.
Right.
You got me to shore. Something.
Don't make me cry.
I know.
That just really just got me, because I felt that so deeply.
Maybe we all thank our inner child.
Yeah. We're
Cheers.
gonna drink to that. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sing. Up to it, right?
Up to it, not down to it.
All right, guys. I can't thank you all enough for joining me today. Being vulnerable, being honest, being insightful. This is much more that I couldn't even ask for. This was such an amazing conversation and enlightening in many regards. So, guys, this is the end of episode 4. Thank you for taking the journey with us, and I want to leave you with a thought. It is not who you are that holds you back, but who you think you are not. See yourselves. Deuces. We'll see you next time.
That was such a great show, David.
Raise your eyes to the sky when you hardly feel alive, would you please? Cause see, if your daddy had loved you, could it save you so much trouble when you're mean? Yeah, and get the punching at the sky. No example how to thrive, then they call you black niggas. No one fucking witches. I started from some youngest with some daddy issues.